Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program Business Point on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program, and I dare to say, compliments of the season to you all. Before we get right into the conversation of the day, or rather the business, there are a lot of exciting things happening within the oil sector. Nigeria paying part of her debt to the International Monetary Fund. Nigeria also leading in the as holders of cryptocurrency, and also there's also a concern story regarding to cash and its scarcity. The CBN, says they've hit a large mark of about 41+% on cash circulation, but still Nigerians find it hard to have cash, and as well as customers complaining that they rarely get to withdraw the amount needed in the Apex Bank. So all of these are the things we are going to be discussing on today's edition of Business Points. But before we dive into today's business, we'll be going on a quick break, and then when we return back, Business Point continues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It is going to Business Point on Global Television. And the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has reduced the price of premium multi-spirit, otherwise known as petrol, by 20 naira across outlets in Abuja. Reports reaching us that the retail outlet price has fallen from 1,060 naira per liter at the pump to 1,040 naira, a reduction of 20 naira per liter. We learned that the price was reduced to 1,040 naira per liter just this past weekend, but prices still remain within 1,115 naira per liter to 1,120 naira per liter at independent owned filling stations, depending on the location. And now all of this now has been challenge. So we're looking at the Port Harcourt refinery coming back to life, and protests are ongoing for that of Kaduna and Wari also to come back to life and then get start refining products, as well as looking at the Dangote refinery. And the initiative for crude to Naira also is also one of the reasons why all of these things are happening. But Nigerians are still calling for more, because they are mentioning and complaining about the fact that 20 naira reduction isn't just enough, because it hasn't reflected on the prices of goods in the market, and it has also not reflected on the cost of transportation. So with all of these concerns, so Nigerians are still calling for more reduction of the price of petrol at the filling stations, given the fact that just NNPC reducing 20 naira from its official price. Now, other filling stations are yet to even reduce. So now, how soon or how swift do we think this is going to happen? Regulatory bodies need to come back and then have a sit down. OPEC, IFMAN, all of those agencies now, stakeholders need to come together, sit down and look for a further way of the petroleum price being reduced. The president also attention has been drawn times and again in line with all of these hikes in petroleum prices. So we're hoping to see that the price gets slashed more. Looking at this period, is the festive period. A whole lot of journeys, traveling tend to happen during this period. So people have complained more about transportation and high costs and all of that. So it has been a challenge. So we're going to look at means on how all of this would be sorted out. Moving on, Nigeria repays 1.22 billion to the International Monetary Fund. Nigeria has serviced its debt to the International Monetary Fund with nothing less than $1.22 billion over 9 months. Data from the Debt Management Office External Debt Service report has shown that the payments were made as part of the principal payment of 3 consecutive quarters from the fourth quarter of 2023 to the second quarter of 2024. The breakdown of this payment shows that $401.73 million was paid in the fourth quarter of 2023, followed by $409.35 million was paid in the first quarter of 2024, and $404.24 million was paid in the second quarter of 2024, amounting to a total of $1.22 billion. As a result of these payments, Nigerians' debt to the IMF has decreased significantly, dropping from $3.26 billion as of June 2023 to $1.16 billion by June 2024. This reflects a substantial reduction of 64.42% within a period of 1 year. It was earlier reported that current administration of President Bola Tinubu is expected to pay off a $3.4 billion owed to the International Monetary Fund during his tenure. And looking at this, the taxation and VAT increment and money being saved from subsidy has been said to go into this, and also into this loan repayment, as well as also going into the student loan initiative that was created by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We remember when he came into office, or during his campaign period, he made mention of these debt services being paid and also tightening the monetary policy. So Nigerians are not surprised that he is actually going through with what he promised during this his election campaign period. But what Nigerians want more for him to do is to have a conversation and bring back a little bit of fuel subsidy, because analysts and Nigerians have proven, facts have actually proven that there is no economy that is not being run or that is not being subsidized. Even the great United States of America still have a little bit of subsidy going on within some sectors. So all of these issues and concerns are things that are highly needed to, secure and then make Nigerians' life better. So we will be going on another quick break, and then when we return back, we'll be looking at the flood and the FX push as sugar price, goes up by 407%. This is a very big concern. We'll be going back on the quick break, and when we return back, Business Point continues.
Yes, many thanks for staying with us. And before we go on that quick break, we had mentioned that the sugar price has surged by 407%. The sugar price in Africa's most populous country has surged to the highest level since 2017, owing to worsen the foreign exchange crisis, insecurity, and flooding incidents that has cut the output. The average price of sugar rose to 407% to 1.64 million per metric ton in the month of October 2024, from a 323,900 in October 2017, according to data from the National Sugar Development Council. In spite of the high sugar price, sugarcane farmers have struggled to increase production, owing to a combination of issues ranging from inadequate access to improved seedling, worsened insecurity, and climate change. Sugar production in Nigeria has risen from 6,843 metric tons in 2012 to 38,597 metric tons in 2019, according to the most recent data from National Sugar Distribution Council. This accounts for 2.7% of Nigerians' total consumption of 1.42 metric tons in the period. So Nigeria, the largest country in the sub-Saharan Africa, imports 98% of its raw sugar, owing to the inability of farmers to increase production. This factor, together with the country's failing with FX rates, further amount pressure on the sugar price. The Naira has lost about 70% of its value since June 2023, when the country floated the currency, hitting 1,533 Naira per dollar at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, as result shows. Imports also on this matter also rise, aimed at increased investment in the sector. Sugar importation have continued to rise steadily. The sweetener is also the second most imported agricultural produce in Nigeria in terms of quality after wheat, and then according to the Food and Agricultural Organization, Africa's most populous nation is now the fourth net importer of sugar. It's imported 1.53 million metric tons in 2020 from 1.9 million metric tons in 2012, a 40.1% rise in the imports over the period, and yearly millions of dollars are still spent on importing the sweetener, a narrative that the industry backwards integration program hopes to change. So looking at all of these, Nigerians have spent a whopping 582.3 billion in 9 months importing sugar, compared to 517.8 billion expended in the year 2023. Data from the Nigerian Foreign Trade Report shows this statistics. High currency in circulation also fails. Nigerians scarcity of cash, and then Nigerians also have concerns in that light. But before we have that conversation, the reasons majorly behind Nigeria importing more of sugar instead of having her own local production mainly has been attributed to the high rate of insecurity and as well as climate change. So farmers now are complaining majorly. They are not even beckoning on the fact that climate change is one of the reasons why they can't, have massive production. They're hammering more on insecurity, that they can't go back to their farms, and they've also made mention of the fact that most of these real farmers are now internally displaced. What we have now are middle-class farmers who actually don't get to go to the farms. Those are people that go to the Bank of Agriculture, get loans, and then use it for their own personal gains. But the actual farmers now are actually complaining about the fact that they cannot go back to farm and that they can't produce. Now, this boils down to the fact that Nigerian Naira keeps getting depreciated, and then looking at the fact that it has been floated for over a period of 12 months now, it shows that with all of these challenges, importation now is on a high, and Nigeria tends to consume more sugar. So importation now of this product has been on a rise, given the statistics of 40.1% within the period of 9 months. This has been a challenge, and then spending a whopping sum of over 500 billion naira at the cost of importation of sugar. But if we have these issues settled, insecurity mostly settled, that means climate change is something that is swiftly, so it changes. It can be favorable, and at some point it wouldn't be favorable. So the major challenge now is insecurity being curbed out, so as these farmers can go back to farm, and at least we wouldn't be importing as low as sugar, given the fact that Nigerians tend to consume most of that. Moving away from agricultural and importation of sugar, and then the high cost of it going up by 401%. Let's have a conversation around high currency in circulation, but still Nigeria obtains and faces cash scarcity. Cash scarcity remains a persistent issue across Nigeria, even as the latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that currency in circulation has hit a high record of 4.5 trillion in the month of October 2024. According to the data, currency in circulation increased by 4.7% from 4.3 trillion recorded in September 2024. Despite this increase, Nigerians continue to face challenge accessing cash at banks. Ratio withdrawals and as well as automated teller machines fails to dispense. Many customers have reported being unable to withdraw their desired amount, with some accusing banks of arbitrarily limiting cash disbursements. We've had reports where, individuals complain about the fact that how frustrating it is for them to be able to get to the bank and then are not being unable to withdraw anything less more than 5,000 naira when a significant amount of about 20,000 naira is needed. So we've had reactions from Nigerians in this light, and the central bank, in her defense, has directed banks and financial institutions to strengthen the controls process and also procedures in their cash management operations to enhance currency circulation across the economy. Additionally, the CBN addressed rumors about the validity of older versions of the 1,000 naira, 500 naira and 200 naira notes. A statement signed by Sadiq Ali Hakim, acting Director of Corporations and as well as Communications, clarified that these denominations remain valid legal tenders following a Supreme Court ruling issued on November 29, 2023. This ruling affirms that the indefinite circulation of all versions of the 1,000 naira, 500 naira and 200 naira notes, as well as the older designs of the 100 naira notes, are still legal tenders. The CBN stressed that there is no deadline for the usage of these notes and urged Nigerians to disagree or disregard rumors suggesting otherwise. The CBN of the Central Bank of Nigeria encourages Nigerians to accept all naira notes for transactions and handle them responsibly to maintain their quality and statements. So all of this information actually came directly from the desk of the Director of Communications. So all of these challenges now is something that is actually there, because now POS transactions, people tend to complain that the charges now from POS transactions are on a high. Banks now, in their own defense, made the mention of the fact that the facial and the monetary policies that has been tightened is one of the reasons why they are not having enough cash in circulation. So it has been said, by financial analysts that each bank needs nothing less than 20 million naira on a daily basis to be able to service the need of Nigerian cash. Now, questions, tend to arise when issues like this come up, that is the initiative for Crude for Naira also playing a massive role for Nigerians not being able to have access to cash, despite the fact that the Central Bank of Nigeria has said that they have increased the cash circulation to about 4.7 trillion, from the month of October and the month of September respectively. So there's been an increase. So now, what is the major challenge? Why are banks not releasing enough cash? These are questions that Nigerians are asking, looking at the report from the Central Bank. The banks in their defense says fiscal policy and monetary policy has been a massive concern, and then the monetary policy being tightened is also another massive concern. So all of these issues now, looking at the festivity around the corner, Nigerians tend to complain given the fact that we run a cash society and a whole lot of transactions happen during this time, and bank networks and services and are not really helping matters because of the fact that transfers most of the times don't get to go through during this period of the year. That's why Nigerians beckon more for cash to be highly released and circulated within the market spaces. Moving on, they are going to have a conversation around cryptocurrency, where Nigeria leads the world in cryptocurrency ownership. Yes, Nigeria leads the world in cryptocurrency according to a concerned second annual global survey. The report indicates that emerging markets like Nigeria and South Africa are driving the global adaptation of cryptocurrencies. The percentage of ownership in the highest in the Philippines. Philippines comes, in the third place with 54%. South Africa in second place with 68%, and Nigeria leading the pack with 73% of ownership of cryptocurrency. The countries are the most forefront of the notable interest in cryptocurrency related awareness, ownership, and as well as engagement. According to the survey, 51% of the respondents says they understand cryptocurrency assets, and 93% of the respondents worldwide are aware of them. Additionally, these countries have shown a strong interest in Web3 activities such as staking, utilizing decentralized financing, and holding NFTs. 8% of Nigerian respondents were aware of decentralization, and 77% correctly defined blockchain. In addition, 74% of respondents from South Africa said they were familiar with the concept compared to 61% of those from the Philippines. The survey also revealed enduring obstacles to entry despite the increasing interest in cryptocurrency in these regions. Concerns about scams, market volatility, and a lack of understanding of its purpose are commonly known worldwide. Respondents from emerging markets have shown the willingness to accepting virtual currencies despite these difficulties and barriers that has been set by some, illegal persons. 75% of this survey expressed concerns about artificial intelligence potential to spread fraud and create fake news, highlighting the blockchain may be crucial in resolving these issues. Blockchain could offer accountability and transparency required to construct AI-driven disinformation, according to roughly 54% of those parts. Looking at those now and looking at the current price of Bitcoin, which was projected, a few years ago that it's going to hit about $100,000 mark in the month of December. Days before December, it got to that mark, and then we witnessed a very big spike, a bullish run, and then it has been on that same trend for a couple of weeks now. And then looking at it, just like the Nigerian stock exchange market has also been on a bullish trend for over 4 weeks coming. This is how much time will permit us to take on today's edition of Business Points. My name is Samuel Odi. I'll see you again tomorrow as we talk more business.